Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer online action. Today we're going to be taking a look at another Beastmen replay up against the Empire, and it's another good replay that showcases, why the Beastmen very much need to use terrain, or not why, I guess, but how they can, and I'm of the opinion that they very much need to, especially against a top-tier faction like the Empire. Now granted, my opponent I don't think has brought a super optimal build here, but we'll get to that in a minute. For my build, I've got these Sons of Goros here with the Centaurs with great weapons, a unit of Chaos Poison Warhounds. We've also got a Gorbel making up this nice mobile contingent here. We've also got a unit of Centaurs with throwing axes to do some harass and to bait out a nice engagement. As you guys know, I'm very much a fan of, going forward and skirmishing with these guys and then pulling back to this ambush force and just kind of jumping on someone. For my main infantry force, we've got a main line of Gorhords with shields with Ungor Spearman Herd to back them up, 2 on each flank. We've also got the Koroks Man Rippers here in the center, supporting Morgar the Shadowgave. We've also got a Lore of Wild Bray Shaman here on a chariot. He's carrying Viletide, Devolve, and of course Bestial Surge, which refreshes all of your units' vigor. So very fun stuff. Up against the Empire, you really don't need more than Gorhords with shields. I mean, Greatswords will outclass them, and they'll probably lose to Flagellants as well, but that block chance is important at mitigating missile fire. As well, they're just a decent, mainline unit up against, non-armored factions. So definitely going to be in for a good time. And it's a good discussion of terrain in general, because I don't know if my opponent was paying attention to the map or if this pick was intentional, but the Hammer of Witches is going to have a really hard time being cost effective here, just because there's all these ridges and forests all over the place. So what I can do now is advance my entire infantry force up this hill, and that's going to allow me to pretty much negate the cannon fire on all these guys as they advance. Granted, he probably wants to be shooting at my mobile force over here, but there's forests, there's also these ridges here, there's a kind of divot right here, so it's not going to be ideal. It's definitely going to have a hard time paying off, especially where he's deployed, but we'll see. For the rest of his force, he's got a mix of great swords and flagellants here in the center. Great swords are probably overkill against the Beastmen. He does have one unit of Reichsguard. It looks like Zintler's Reichsguard actually right here. Spearmen supporting on the flanks and one in the rear to help protect the cannon, as well as a unit of Demigryph Knights with halberds. So very good stuff. General of the Empire up on a Griffin, pretty standard. And he does indeed have a Jade Wizard as well over here, and he's just carrying the Dwellers below, so definitely expecting a small elite Beastman force, and then to get the Dwellers and just hopefully they blob up, and just get this and take him out. But unfortunately for him, I haven't brought too elite of a force. I've kind of gone fairly wide, which is the way I definitely recommend going up against the Empire. So we've got this unit of Centaurs with throwing axes here, going to be chucking them at the General of the Empire. And one thing against the Beastmen, I really like Skirmish Cav. Even garbage tier Pistoliers can be useful against the Beastmen, just because they're somewhat weak to Skirmish Cav. I mean, Centaurs can catch them, but it's not super cost effective because they have relatively low armor. So even a non-armor piercing Skirmish Cav like Pistoliers can be useful. Can also help you do scouting and avoid ambushes like this. See, this General of the Empire is now trying to get down onto these Centaurs with throwing axes. They're doing a decent amount of damage to him, but he doesn't see this mobile force here, and by the time he's going to turn away, it's too late. I just simply engage these guys in melee and then bring in the Hounds and all the armor-piercing units, and it's going to be a bad day for the General of the Empire. He's not going to be able to get away from this. Gorbel's in pursuit as well. You can see he's taking a ton of burst damage there, actually routing off. His leadership completely drops. The Demigryphs have come up to try and help support, but the Centaurs are going to get in here and just lay a beating on them. They really don't have the unit model density to take this kind of fight, especially when they're poisoned and their stats are being debuffed. And, they definitely will deal some damage back, don't get me wrong, but against this kind of density, they're going to really struggle. Demigryph Knights just don't have enough unit models to take this kind of fight. They're more suited to taking down things like Crypt Horrors and Giants and, Generals, things like that. But yeah, it's going to be pretty rough. We're going to pull away the Centaurs and with throwing axes and start pitching them into the side here. And this General of the Empire is completely gone. I mean, he's going to be dead here in just a moment. These Sons of Goros are just whacking away at him, and Gorbel's going to spear him right in the back. And that's it. You can see the cannon's trying to fire in here, but it can't really get good lines of sight, and it's not going to be able to do a ton of damage. You can see this unit of Centaurs with great weapons actually took a ton of damage from those Demigryph Knights with halberds, but with the rest of these units closing in, those guys are going to rout. We're still going to be able to get a counter charge in and probably finish them off here. Meanwhile, my infantry force has just crested the hill now, and it's going to be coming out of the forest here, so we'll get a little bit of this cinematic action here as these great swords charge into the gore herd with shields. Flagellants as well, just clashing across the line. Going to be a beautiful battle. And the Beastmen are just zerging from the forest now. The Zintlers Reiksguard are charging into this engagement here where Morgr is. We've countercharged with the Koroks Man-Rippers. They're going to be a very good unit at countering the Zintlers Reiksguard with their armor-piercing anti-large. And Morgr, of course, going to be able to summon up Chaos Spawn, hopefully on some of these Flagellants. It's a great target for them because they'll fight to the death, so you can get them at that very low HP. Interesting Dwellers from below, and I'm not sure this is 100% in my opponent's favor. If you add up the resources, you know, Great Swords, Zintlers Reiksguard, and these Spearmen that he's just chucked in here as well, it's, oh, what, 3,000 resources maybe? And maybe more. No, about 2,500. I don't know. I can't do math right now. These Koroks Man-Rippers are only 1,300, plus the 500 here is 1,800. So, I mean, this isn't really a cost-effective trade for him, for this Dwellers of Below. It's definitely going to do more damage to his own army than it does mine. But, you know, trying to do something to come back here. This Great Cannon's firing away as the Brave Shaman charges through. He's been dropping some nice Vile Tides and nice Devolve over here to shatter the rest of these troops. So it's going to be good for me. This unit of Great Swords is charging into Spears here, going to get rear charged. I actually misclicked the attack order, so they're not going to get a great charge here, but I'd kind of come up and blundered into these Spears a little bit because I didn't see them in the forest, but we were able to just pull away because Centaurs are very, very fast. And yeah, we're winning the mainline fight here. You can see these Chaos Spawn being summoned up. They're going to get into these Silver Bullets here. It's not going to be a fun time for these poor handgunners. Oh man, Chaos Spawn are so nasty. Cool, look at these guys. Beautiful. So yeah, that's pretty much going to be it for the Empire player. I mean, he's got some Flagellants fighting still, but I'm going to be able to relatively easily mop them up. He does admit defeat there, so well played to my opponent. A good demonstration of why you need to pay attention to terrain. That map is Norden, I believe, and it's one of the more, you know, terrain-heavy maps, I would say. Definitely favors factions like the Beastmen and the Wood Elves and, you know, other factions that can very much capitalize on the terrain with superior mobility and, you know, really force the engagement that you want. Yeah, and this one, and I think Doomkeep as well is one that has a lot of interesting terrain features that the Beastmen can use. But yeah, really, really tough for my opponent losing his Lord there at the beginning to those Centaurs. Very nice ambush. You guys will see I like to do that a lot with the Beastmen just because they're a good mobile faction at kind of catching people off guard and, you know, doing that kind of thing. Gore Herds performing admirably across the line. Same with these Ungor Spearman Herd. These guys are actually pretty decent for their cost just because they have that little frenzy buff. Makes them alright. The Sons of Goros and the Centaurs doing a nice job taking down that General of the Empire and the Demis, which is pretty much what they are here for. And yeah, the Hammer of Witches was a rough pick for my opponent on that map. I'm not sure if he realized that's the map that it was. I definitely recommend when you guys are jumping into a multiplayer battle, you always check what map it is, and even if you're not familiar with it, just look at, you know, what terrain features, because you can see kind of a little outline. Let's go take a look actually. So if we go here, like Doomkeep for example, you can see it has all these terrain features, lots of forests and hills and everything, as opposed to, you know, another map. Let's see. Norden is the one we were fighting on. Yep. This one is a very fun map, one of my favorites actually in the multiplayer rotation, just because it's always super interesting to see what people bring and what kind of tactics they use. Very, very fun stuff. So hope you guys enjoyed watching that battle. I sure enjoyed playing it. If you guys like this kind of content, like and subscribe. I'm keeping it coming with more every day. Just a few more days, a week until Total War Warhammer 2 comes out. I'm super excited, so I'll see you guys there. Stay tuned for more, and we will see you next time.